Well, we have made it into the final turn and into the home stretch, and we're closing in on the finish line. What are we talking about? The road to the American, of course. AT&T Stadium this Sunday is the richest weekend in all of Western sports. Hi, everybody. I'm Justin McKee, and welcome to the final installment of the Road to the American as we are getting set for this Sunday's big $2 million rodeo at AT&T Stadium, where it is in its third year and promising to be bigger and better than ever. And as we talk about this show tonight, we're going to have so much to talk about, including the format. The top 10 in the world, they've been waiting for this day to find out who they would match. The qualifiers from last week's semifinals have earned their trip here against the top 10 in the world. And we also have some exemptions in there. Fan choices and Triple Crown athletes, and they'll all compete here Sunday at AT&T in a long round with the top 4 advancing into the shootout round where $2 million will be paid out. And the qualifiers and exemptions, Triple Crown athletes, they can win up to $1 million to split it. Either way, the first place check is going to be worth over $100,000. Second place, $25,000. And the perks and prizes, they are huge as well. What have we done the last couple of years? Well, made history. It was the very first rodeo millionaire in the day. Richmond champion, the little-known bareback rider from Texas, who wiped out the top 10 in the world after coming through the semifinals to win the $1 million check. And then bareback riders have pretty much dominated this competition, as last year Taylor Price got a big chunk of that payout as he snuck up on the top 10 in the world and grabbed the dreams, the gold buckle, and all the prizes that go along with it. Now, let's switch gears and talk about who some contenders are that can be those biscuit snatchers in 2016. Clay Smith, Paul Lees in the team roping, barrel racer Ivy Conrado, and Marchie in the bull riding. Right now, let's go to Amy Wilson, who is down on the arena dirt.
It takes a little bit of an imagination to foresee what this place will look like come Saturday and Sunday for PBR's Iron Cowboy and RFD-TV's The American as they transform AT&T Stadium into rodeo arenas. It takes 5,500 tons of dirt. The dirt came in on Sunday and the chutes and panels came in this morning. All equaled out, it's about 2 miles of steel. Now, the agony of defeat and the thrill of victory will all take place right here this weekend.
All right, well, we thank you, Amy, for that report. And it's hard to believe that they have to start so early, but there's that much to do in this humongous arena. 5-time world champion Luke Branquino in the steer wrestling joins us here in the booth. Welcome.
I appreciate it. It's awesome to be able to look down here and see what they're getting us ready for. You know, the arena, the dirt, everything. It's just, it makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck.
And you're a guy that knows what dirt tastes like.
Yeah,
and you're also a guy
unfortunately.
You're also a guy that knows how to win championships. So what's a guy got to do to win a championship here?
It comes down to horsepower and getting a good start. You know, every one of these guys that we're competing against know how to throw steers down. Get a good start, have your horse work good, and top 4 will show, and then hopefully the $100,000 will be in my hands, and the $1 million will get saved for somebody else.
Yeah, there you go. So who's your toughest competition these days?
Oh, anybody out there. You know, these guys, anybody that's going to be here today has a chance to win. It's just who's in the right frame of mind.
All right, I'm going to pin you down because you said whoever has the best horse usually wins. Who's got the best horse?
Well, there's a lot of great horses. You know, obviously Dakota Eldridge has his horse Rusty. I have a great horse I got from Les Shepperson that I call Rocket. He's been doing good. Just a lot of great horses out there. So I'm banking on Rocket being the best here come Sunday.
All right. So as you can see, that is an impressive list of guys that can really get the job done. And as we look at those guys that are seated, the top 10, I want to talk about maybe one of the underdogs, one of the guys who went through the semifinals last week. Who could be a surprise here? Well, let me just update everybody last week. Todd Soon, Jacobs Burke, Bray Arms, Justin Schaefer, and Olin Hannum were the guys that earned a spot in here to try to beat you big dogs.
Well, you know, you have 3 guys that have been to Vegas, and Todd Soon, Bray Arms, and Olin Hannum, so they know the situation, fast starts, throwing steers fast. But Justin Schaefer, he's been bulldogging great the last few times I've seen him, and Jacob Burke's a great cowboy up from the north, and really, he's his horse is working great, and he's throwing them down fast. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Cody Cassidy also made that list. The 6 men actually came out of the semifinals, unlike the team roping that took 5. But I want to talk about Lee Graves. Lee Graves is Canadian champion, world champion twice, and he took on Rope Myers in our gold buckle match in San Antonio a couple of weeks ago. Have you been talking to Lee? You know if he's ready? Or
I talked to Lee a little bit before the gold buckle match. He was ready. I talked to Trevor Knowles after the gold buckle match, and Trevor's excited. Lee's throwing him down good, and he's actually going to ride Trevor's horse. And they've been getting ready for this. And you know, when you've sat out of rodeo for a while, when you're back in the box, you're hungry. You're ready to win.
Speaking of setting out of rodeo a while, you're not going to have quite as intense a schedule this year.
No.
Why? Why?
No, you know, unfortunately, bylaw got passed by the PRCA that's not letting anybody that's an owner or board member or anything of that sort of any other competing organization be a member of the PRCA. So there's a big group of us that are, you know, we're trying to do something to make rodeo better for not just ourselves, but for the future. You know, the future of the sport, the future of the Cowboys, just the future. And unfortunately, they don't see it that way, so they, they took away our memberships, and we're going to try to make this deal work and make the best out of it, and hopefully people understand that it's not about us making money, it's about making the sport better.
So you're a shareholder in the Elite Rodeo Athletes, and as the PBR got started, those guys were shareholders. So is that kind of the model that you're using?
Well, it's a similar model, but obviously they say it's different because it's 7 events similar to the PRCA rodeos. But really, I've been staying with Cody Lambert. He knows, and he's told me, he said, we tried to make the sport better for everybody. There's nothing better than seeing Cowboys make more money, and that's all we're trying to accomplish.
All right, you're looking at your Elite Rodeo Athletes, the 15 events, and 87 top road rodeo athletes. You've got your World Championship in Dallas, and you're going to have the opportunity to enjoy. You've got 3 boys, and I've been to your ranch in California. You've got a beautiful place. You haven't spent near enough time there. And I guess the positive side, aside from maybe not making the money in the PRCA standings, is you'll get to be with your family some more. What else are you going to do to fill in your time?
Oh, I'm going to help out. You know, my dad, he's might have to have a knee replacement. There's no telling now. We're waiting on some doctor's orders. So I'm going to be there to help out as much as I can, and, you know, obviously spend time with the boys, be around baseball season. And that's one thing the rodeo cowboy that suffer from the most is they don't get to be around their family. With this schedule we have now, it's going to allow me to do that. And, you know, I'm going to bring them up to try to get them to every ERA event I can so they could see what hopefully championship rodeo will look like in the ERA's eyes. And, you know, our first one is March 25th, 26th, Redmond, Oregon, and, you know, League of Champions. Everybody join in and watch and cheer us on and hope for the best for us.
Tell me about your health. How you feeling? You've battled some injuries, but you've overcome them every time. How do you feel now?
Oh, I feel good. You know, other than not being able to run steers, I feel like I'm getting a little heavy, so I need to hit the gym a little bit. But, you know, feeling good. I have my diabetes under control for the most part. Traveling as much as we do, it's kind of hard to get it perfect. But one thing about this schedule we have now, I hopefully get that dialed in and a little bit better. Let's
talk about the semifinals. Specifically, I want to hear you tell any steer wrestler that did not try to qualify for the American semifinals, I want you to tell them some reasons why, other than it paid $20,000 to first place.
Well, first off, I'd tell them they're crazy. You know, anytime you have a chance to run at $1 million, you have to go through the process and the steps to get there. But where else are they going to be able to run at that type of money? You know, the steers, everybody I talked to from the semifinals said the steers were great. I believe that's what we're running here. You know, it's just crazy that they wouldn't. The guys that did, they're taking advantage of a great opportunity that the Americans given them.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the American. We've got some video of you competing here at the American, and let's break it down. Let's get a little technical as we take you to the competition here at Cowboy Stadium. First of all, how's it feel? What's it like?
Oh, it's electric. Anytime you could be in the stadium with this many people cheering you on is awesome. Right here, I felt like I had to jump a mile at this steer, and then when I went to hook his nose, I loosened up with my right arm, and that's why I didn't get the fall. He was sure a good enough steer that I should have made it back and had a chance to run that 100,000, but you know, that's the way rodeo goes sometimes.
How hard is it to watch a rodeo when there's 4 guys trying to win $100,000 or maybe even more, and you just missed it?
Well, you know, I'm still in the mode of cheering them on, but at the same time, you're thinking, oh, that could have been me if I'd have done a few more steps right, you know. Yeah. And everybody that's here, that's going to be here on Sunday, that's their goal, getting that 4-man and stand up on that stage with that check when they're done. And obviously, if you're not, you're going to try hard to get back here the next year.
Well, here we are next year. I mean, last year you had to wait. You go, oh man, will I ever get another shot at winning $100,000? And we're just a few days away. When you were growing up, did you imagine that you'd be able to go to one rodeo and win $100,000? When did that become a reality to you?
Well, I'd say the first year it became a reality, you know, when Calgary started paying 100. Then you had Houston step up. They've always had the 50. And then with what the Americans done, anytime you could have rodeos step up and be able to pay 100,000, you're thinking, wow, rodeo is heading the right direction. And I just hope that more follow in the footsteps of what these great people have done for us to have chances to win 100,000. You know, a stadium, a setup like this, and $100,000, and for them qualifiers $1 million. Where else can you ask for such a better setting?
Yeah, it is a good setting. And you mentioned you get in this cheerleader mode, not necessarily Dallas Cowboy cheerleader mode.
I would look horrible in their outfit, I think.
But a steer wrestling cheerleader mode. You guys, there's such continuity and there's such a brotherhood bond among you steer wrestlers. What is it about that?
Yeah, you know, for the most part, everybody gets along. Everybody wants to see everybody do good. And you know, I think it's just, we know that it's not me against the next competitor, it's me against the steer I have drawn. And if people could look at it that way, they could understand why we root for each other and cheer each other along, because we want to see everybody do their best and have a chance to win. Obviously, we want to win a little bit more than we want them to win,
yeah.
But you know, it's just part of being a good sport, and that's the way we were brought up as kids.
All right, so you are going up against that steer. Are you the guy that's got that notepad in his pocket that's got every steer number written down and every little detail of how he reacts to every situation? Who's the nerd in your group?
I am definitely not that
not.
guy. I might be the nerd, but I'm not the nerd that uses a pen and paper. Billy Buganig is probably one of the very best. Billy could tell you about a steer you ran 5 years ago, his number, his color, what he did, what kind of run you made on him. It's amazing that he has such a good memory on cattle. And anytime I have a steer that I've heard that he might know, I call him up, he'd be like, what color is he? And I'll tell him, and he'd be like, this steer runs hard, steps a little left, might throw his nose up at you when you hook it. I mean, just little details, and he is sharp when it comes to that.
He's the guy. So he's who you're calling. Do you know the steers?
I don't know the steers. I just heard they were good. I don't know how well Billy knows this herd, but you know, there's always somebody that has a book on them. I know Jeff Miller, I believe, owns the cattle. He'll have a great book on them, so we'll have a good idea what they're going to do in their pattern, hopefully.
So break that down. There's a lot of people that don't know what you go through. I mean, you go to the secretary, you find out the steer number, then you make the phone call. How's that work?
Yeah, usually you go to the secretary, see what number you have. They have a list of where they came from. So in this instance, they'd come from the semifinals and the finals there. And you just go down the list, see who ran them, and then hopefully you have their number, whoever ran the cattle last time. They tell you what they did, and if you don't believe them, you call the next guy down the list and go on until you find somebody you trust or somebody you believe. But usually the owner has a pretty good idea what they're going to do, so sometimes we'll just skip to the owner.
All right. Well, I want to get into some predictions. You know, is there any long shot in any event that you think might do some good, might sneak up on everybody? Let me give you this question first. So we've got some guys that can win the Triple Crown. All right, Caleb Driggers in the team roping, Wade Sundell in the saddle bronc riding, Lisa Lockhart in the barrel racing. Do you think any one of them could win it for the third time?
I think they're all three very capable. You know, Wade Sundell, he's such an animal when it comes to the bronc riding. I'm going to say I'll predict him to be the Triple Crown winner. You know, and Lisa, if she's able to ride Louis, I don't know what she's going to be mounted on. If she's on Louis, obviously he's dominated in this building, so that'll be interesting to see if she's able to ride him. And Caleb Driggers, you know, he knows how to throw some rope and get it on him fast. So
is Hunter Cure the guy to beat in the steer wrestling?
I think this one guy, Luke Branquino, I think.
But I mean, besides you,
yeah, Hunter. I mean, his confidence level's high. He's just coming off a second world championship, and obviously he knows that he's won this before. He's just won a world championship, so yeah, his confidence level's high too.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, taking us inside steer wrestling.
I want to say hi to my kids. I hope they're at home watching to me. Hey boys, be nice to mama.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to talk to another world champion. Matter of fact, we've got several of them right here with us at AT&T. This is the legend, four-time world champion bareback rider Bobby Moat. We'll find out whether he's in or out, or what his plans are for the future when we come back. RFD's Road to the American, presented by Polaris Ranger, is brought to you in part by Polaris Ranger, the #1 utility side-by-side vehicle for farmers and ranchers, and by Cinch Jeans and Shirts. Lead, don't follow.
This is the locker room of the 5-time Super Bowl champions, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, each locker is made of a special wood from Africa, and I'm told it's the same wood they use in Rolls-Royce and Bentleys. And each locker costs about $9,000. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys have a 53-man squad. Above the lockers are pictures of Pro Bowl players. Each one played in at least 2 Pro Bowl games. On the left side of the locker room is the offensive players. On the right side, the defensive players. Behind the left side is a training room. Behind the right side are the coaches' lockers and office space. Now, a lot of Cowboys will be here at AT&T Stadium this Sunday. A different Cowboy, the Rodeo Cowboy, and I am certain they will not be using this room.
Thank you very much, Amy. Now let's take a look at the invited bareback riders that include 4-time world champion Casey Field, one of the hottest rising stars in Austin Foss, and the Frenchman, Evan James. Here with 4-time world champion Bobby Mode. And Bobby, this last year, you had some injuries and finished just outside the top 10, so we didn't think we were going to get to see you here. Then the injury to Stephen Peoples bumped you into the top 10. Then all of a sudden I seen you were a scratch. What's going on?
Yeah, well, actually it was Seth Hardwick that had surgery that moved me in earlier, and when Randy told me that, see, I had some surgery on my neck to remove some bone spurs that were pushing on a nerve that affected my left arm January 6th. And I found out about it towards the end of January, and I thought, you know what, I could probably speed it along for this. And then Monday I met with the spine surgeon that did the operation, and I asked him if he'd clear me, and he said no. He said he'd give it a month. So we had too much at stake to rush it that much. It's only been 6 weeks since the surgery, and got to look at the big picture. But I love this rodeo. I love the idea. I guess I'll just have to watch it.
Speaking of watching, I hate to dwell on bad stories or bad memories here, but the last 2 years you've been in the top 4 and looked like you were headed toward that championship round at the million. Then at the very last minute, both years get bumped one hole out, and you've got to watch it from the back of the chutes.
Yeah, being 5th or being 10th, I mean, it's really the same outcome here. Everybody wants a chance to be in the finals and go at the top 4, and that's the stuff that I get excited about. You know, it's great to have the chance at it. You know, it just goes to show you what the competition level is here, and with all the best guys here, you still, you know, everything still has to go right that day.
Let's switch gears and talk about what everybody has been talking about this last year, and that is the ERA. Yeah. And you're a big part of that. You're an officer in that organization. And because of the PRCA bylaw, since you're an officer, you're not going to be able to get your PRCA card. So what's that schedule look like?
Well, it slimmed my schedule down some. So my schedule this year looks like, for the first time in my career, I've been able to tell my sponsors and my fans exactly where I'm going, and every event that I'm going to is televised. So I'll go to Rodeo Houston, I'll go to the ERA Tour, 15 telecasts, I'll go to Calgary, and then the ERA Finals.
So what was the objective of the ERA in the very beginning for those who may not know your history?
So the objective of the ERA was to create a platform where we could showcase the very best rodeo athletes in the world to fans in a televised season where they can follow it from start to finish.
Isn't that kind of what the PRCA set up with the Wrangler Champions Challenge, featuring the best guys on television?
That was sort of their effort, but if you put it in perspective, it's 10 events, 10 performances inside 1,800 performances. And so a person could win every Champions Challenge. You could win all 10 of them and be in the top 30 in the world standings. So it lacks significance. So what I mean by that is you could win all those, not even make the national finals. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win the world championship. So if I'm a fan at home and I watch the only televised product of PRCA Rodeo before the national finals, I might think that that guy that won every Champions Challenge was the world standings leader, and he in fact may not even be at the NFR.
Speaking of the NFR, I mean, the prize money shot through the roof this year. I mean, I don't know if your timing is just real good considering all the money you could leave on the table, because the way I understand it, if you are in the ERA, then you're not going to go to any PRCA rodeos.
According to the bylaws, yes. If you're an owner, board member, or employee of, you're restricted you know, you can't have a PRCA membership.
How many athletes does that affect?
Well, there's 87 athletes in the ERA, and not all of them are owners, and you know, not all of them will remain owners, but they're no less dedicated to advancing the ERA. So I mean, they're all in.
So this summer, you're going to have some extra time on your hands, not going to rodeos. I mean, how do you survive?
Well, it's a little bit of a misconception. If you look at world standings, we don't get to keep everything that you see in the standings. I mean, we spend so much of it getting it, you know, spend it in diesel, travel, airplane tickets, medical bills, all that stuff adds up. And so you're not seeing the net. And the net income isn't as good as we'd hope it was. I mean, rodeo's great, and I don't see traditional rodeo going anywhere. The NFR is great. And like you addressed the prize money there, it's awesome. It's a great opportunity. Just because you're a member doesn't entitle you to be there. And so you've got to, everything still has to go right to get there, and it comes at a big cost. And if you're towards the bottom of the top 15, you're going there at a deficit.
I see. So as we watch these athletes this weekend here at the American, this is an opportunity for them to set themselves up for the year. I mean, it seems like if their schedules are limited and there's no NFR this year for them, this might be what they're hinging a lot on.
Oh yeah, $100,000 or $1 million, obviously that changes stuff. And so, you know, it's a great opportunity for guys. You know, you look at the rodeos that are non-sanctioned between the American and Houston, you can go there and win 50 or in some events 75,000 during that. You go to Calgary, you can win over 100,000. Those are great opportunities. There's no entry fees. They're glad you're there. You know, it's awesome action. The fans get to follow it. So, you know, those are great opportunities.
All right. Well, we'll wait and see how things turn out with you guys in the ERA, and our best to you. And in the meantime, we're looking forward to seeing the rest of the field, which is all the stars in pro rodeo here at this year's American. And these are the underdogs, and if they could take down the top 10 in the world, they could win part of the million. For the first 2 years, a bareback rider has done it, and nobody brings in a bigger head of steam than Canadian Jake Vold. And there you have Stephen Den in the bareback riding. We'll see him also in saddle bronc riding as well. Coming up next, a 17-year-old superstar in the making, Cooper Matthews, made a big move at the semifinals to be here at the American. Last week at Fort Worth and Cowtown Coliseum, young Cooper Matthews roped and tied his first calf in 7-7. And in the short round, he was 8.6. Good enough to earn an invitation to the richest one-day rodeo of them all. Welcome back, everybody, and joining me is Cooper and Cooper Matthews. It's good to have you on the set.
Yes, sir.
It's good to have you in AT&T.
Yes, sir. Feels good to be here.
It's good to have you on the headlines. We've got some stories to talk about.
Yes, sir.
17 years old. You go in there. For you folks that did not watch the semifinals last week on RFD-TV, first of all, shame on you. And second of all, this guy was sandwiched between the college champion and 3 guys who have been to the national finals rodeo with that kind of experience. You have you haven't even won a Texas high school championship yet, even though you're a senior.
Yes, sir.
What was that like going in there with those guns all around you?
Oh, it was pretty exciting. I was having fun.
Oh, you yes, you like the pressure?
Yes, sir.
The bigger the stakes, the better you go.
Yes, sir. Just have fun and go at them.
How do you know that? Have you had some experience in taking down some big names?
I've roped against them in open jackpots and stuff like that, and open rodeos.
So how many times have you been 7 seconds?
I don't know, quite a few times.
Quite a few times.
I mean,
let's go back to the semis and show you the videotape. I want you to take me through this run. I mean, break it down and tell us everything that was going on.
had a really good calf right here, and I run him a little further than I wanted to, and things were just happening fast, and put that wrap and hui on him, and it worked out, and it was 7-7. And then that one, that's from Sunday. Just made sure I caught him and put 2 wraps on him and gave myself a chance to come to AT&T Stadium and have a chance to compete for $1 million.
Let's go back to the first calf if we can. I don't know if we can re-rack that or not. Let's go back to the first calf, and I want to ask you another question.
Okay.
And that is, when you're riding in that box, we may or may not have, it doesn't matter.
Yes, sir.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking see my start, get him caught around the neck, and just make a run.
What about handling that slack, man? That has changed a lot in the last few years, hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
What do you do to practice that?
Just keep practicing, just tying them down in the practice pen one after another.
All right, so the second calf, you know you've got a shot at coming in here.
Yes, sir.
And you have seen some guys struggle. And you know you just need to make a good run. So what is your thought process on this run?
Just same thing, see my start, score good, go catch him around the neck,
Yeah, I
tie him
was going to
down.
say, you were telling me earlier, just don't miss.
Yes, sir, just don't miss him.
Were you repeating that, don't miss, don't miss, don't miss?
No, not really. I was just, that thought was there. Just make sure I catch him and don't miss and give myself a chance to move on.
Joe Beaver tells a story that when he was riding in a box in a high-pressure situation, his dad taught him to think about how mad you were the last time you missed at one of those.
Yes.
Have you ever done that?
Yes, sir. I have, actually.
Does that work pretty good?
It does. It gets you fired up and ready to do something.
How did you learn to rope? Who got you going? Who got you
My
started?
dad got me started when I was little. He roped, and I was just around it from the time I was born.
How old were you when you first stepped off and ran down the rope and flanked one?
I was probably 9 years old.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So who is it that you look up to the most?
I try to look up to all of them, honestly. I mean, I've roped with Joe Beaver a bunch, and I've grown up around Marty. Marty Yates, and roped with him a few times. But I try to watch all the pro guys and just take something from all of them.
Speaking
and try
of
to
pro
learn.
guys, you're not even old enough to get your PRCA card yet.
No, sir.
All right. Let's say you turn 18 next year, and you could pick whoever you wanted to go with. Who would that be? Who could you pick to travel with?
Oh, I don't even know, honestly.
Well, let's look at the ones that qualified right now. We're going to show you the list, and we have a pretty impressive list, including, these are the ones that are eligible, including yourself,
Yes, sir.
for the $1 million prize. The underdogs, if you would, the ones that went through either the exemption, like Fred Whitfield did by beating Cody Ole in that match, or the others who earned their way through the semifinals last weekend. Justin Moss, of course, one of the guys I was talking about, bringing NFR experience, and Randall Carlisle as well, Corey Solomon. Braxton Laughlin also gets in there, and then the college champion from 2 years ago, young Taylor Santos. There is a real big turnover of young guys in the last couple of years. Or is it because they're visible because of the system like the American? Which is it?
I think they're just visible because of the system like the American. I mean, they all rope great. There's so many guys out there that are very, very tough ropers and can really, really rope.
Tell me about your horse. What are you going to be riding?
I'm going to be riding the mare that I rode at the semifinals. I've had her since I was 10 years old probably. And she's probably not the best one around, but my confidence is so high on her, it really helps me out being on her because I know exactly what she's going to do.
What's the fastest calf you've tied on her?
I think 7.2.
7.2.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hopefully Sunday I tie one faster.
Let's show you the invited. These are the guys you're going to have to beat if you're going to win that $1 million.
Yes, sir.
All right, these are the ones, the top 10 in the world that are waiting on you, including Trevor Brazil, which, by the way, we've been talking about the ERA. You're not going to get to see these guys very many times this year, so make it count here this year on the American. Tough Cooper, Tyson Durfee. Who do you think is the best roper on that list?
They're all so tough, it's hard to pick one.
You got politics in your future, you think?
I don't know.
Well, you're being very politically correct. You're a very nice young man, so I got to compliment your parents. They've done
Yes,
a
sir.
really good job raising you.
Oh, yes, sir.
That Tough Cooper, though, has really, that guy to me, for young guys especially, have given you a little inspiration in that, hey, you can be great early. As an 18-year-old,
Yes.
I mean, he nearly won the world championship.
Yes, sir, definitely. Tough's in a league of his own, the way he works at it.
So what is your future plans?
Go to college, and then hopefully rodeo after that.
So when do you think you'll get your PRCA card and maybe?
I'll probably buy my permit when I turn 18 in August and just kind of see how everything goes. I mean, it might be a couple years.
Right, right. I want to back up a little bit because I know that your folks were telling me earlier that you almost made it into the semifinals a year ago as a 16-year-old.
Yes, sir. I got there and got to rope in the slack, and I didn't make it out of the slack on Thursday, so I didn't get to the performances.
But you broke a barrier, or you
Yes,
would
sir.
have
Yes, sir.
at 16. Who are the other guys that are young that we can kind of put on our radar and be watching for that you think are really good?
There's a bunch of them, honestly. You've got Tanner Green, Ty Harris, Zach Youngblood, John Dausch, Chance Webster. And many, many more out there.
And there's several more just a year or two older than them.
Yes, sir. They're everywhere.
All right. Getting kind of harder to find a good horse, isn't it? Because there's so many good ropers everywhere.
Yes, sir. Everybody's got a good one nowadays.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We are looking forward to you. Can you
Yes,
beat
sir.
him? Can you beat him?
I'm going to try to.
Are you
I'd like to
planning on winning $1 million?
Yes, sir. I'd like to think I'm going to win it.
I like your confidence. I also appreciate you being so mannerly and so helpful for showing up here tonight. And
Yes, sir.
He's not the only teenager. Not at all. We have some real stories, including one of the fastest grandmas you ever seen. But let's talk about barrel racing. And at just 13 years old, Mackenzie Morgan has lived a life full of highs and lows, triumphs and heartbreak. The road she took to the American is full of disappointment and disaster. You'll hear about it when we come back. RFD-TV's Road to the American, presented by Polaris Ranger, is brought to you in part by Kubota Tractor Corporation, where passion meets performance. Kubota helps you achieve more. And by Zilkeen. Relax, you've got Zilkeen. And also, Vetcherson. From your home to the farm and ranch, Vetcherson makes caring for your animals simple and easy.
It is time for the American.
People will always remember who won the American.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Well, you can do whatever it takes and it'll probably come true.
So I'm actually 13 and I'm homeschooled because going to school was just so much harder. So we were like, well, I think it would be honestly be a lot better for us and for the horses if I could be homeschooled. It's just to be able to think that I can do more barrel races and I can go to more rodeos and I can do what I love a lot longer than most people can do. More about my grandpa. He actually died in 2014, and it was very unexpected. So and honestly, I didn't come out to the barn for about a month. I didn't ride a horse for about a month because he helped me do everything that I did. Like, he was always there with me. So it was just really hard when he died that I didn't have that anymore. My dad and Ducky, my trainer, he actually got me back on a horse. And then once I got back on, I was like, okay, I'm gonna dedicate this year to him. And then I qualified for the American. And then the accident happened. We were going up this hill and we weren't going really fast. And it was like a construction zone, so we had to go slow. And we get up there and there's this truck and it's like sliding all over the road. So we tried to go like beside the car, or like beside the tractor trailer truck, and it didn't work. And so then once we got out and I saw it, it was terrible. So my reaction when I saw him, I was like bawling. I was so sad. Honestly, I thought he was going to be dead when we got to him. He had 3 months of recovery. We went through so much together, and like I guess the bond between us is like unbreakable. I love him to death. Competing with the semifinals, I'm going to try to approach it not try to get nervous this year, knowing that he's hopefully not going to be in the same shape he was last year. All the support I have, all my family, my friends, everybody that's just came up to me and just helped me with everything I've ever done. I'm just lucky to have what I have in my life. You know, I'm honestly truly blessed to have what I have. I'm really, really excited and can't wait to go back.
She's here at AT&T Stadium now, and Mackenzie, this is the dirt that you'll be running on in just a few days. Before we talk more about the American, I want to go back and talk about the semifinals. You were riding your horse H2, beautiful Palomino. Tell me about the runs that you made there.
Well, we had a little trouble at running for the roses, but we fixed those problems, and he came back Thursday, and he pulled through for me, and he caught me qualified, and then he got me qualified on Sunday, and now we're here, so I'm excited.
Tell me more about your horse and especially his name.
He's awesome, but he got his name from when he was born, Firewater Flit died, so he got his name. We named him in Firewater's honor in honor of Firewater Flit, which is his daddy's sire.
And it's a horse that you've home raised. You will be here running at the American. You told me that you don't get nervous before runs. Now that you're here in the building, have you changed your mind about that?
No, hopefully I won't get nervous. I'll just listen to some music and everything will be okay.
When you think about running at the American, the preparation that you'll do this week, anything special or specific?
No, probably just riding around, just exercising, probably nothing different.
I'm so impressed how at ease you are because you're only 13 years old. How did you get to this point of having this much success at such an early age?
Just, my papa, he died at 2014, but he's been with me ever since, and, I have God, and everything's just fallen into place.
That was something I was going to mention is an added bonus for you on Sunday is that you have the foundation that your grandpa gave you, and you'll also be riding with his angel wings, won't you?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Looking ahead to the American, I keep bringing this up because I am so excited for you in age 2. What have you heard about the American? What are your expectations, and what are you thinking at this point about what the event will be like?
I've heard it's really big, and it's going to be really loud, and it's not going to be like a normal rodeo. It's going to be, insane. So I'm really excited.
I know you're a huge fan of Fallon Taylor. She obviously will be running here as well. Have you thought about warming up next to Fallon and being able to run at the same event as Fallon and what that whole experience will be like for you?
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
You're wearing Fallon Taylor pants. They've even been signed by Fallon. And you told me that even though they don't fit like you like, they're your lucky pants. And I'm guessing we'll see you wearing those on Sunday too?
Oh, yes. They don't fit like I'd like, but they're very lucky.
Hopefully lucky enough to win $1 million?
Let's hope so.
And any thoughts about what you would do with $1 million if you won it?
Well, I'd,
you don't want to be honest about this, do you?
Probably cover our arena, probably buy Jenna and Kurt Stone's Little Philly by Slick by Design, and probably Sherry Pinkston's Stud Horse Casino if she'll sell him. Probably buy my brother a car, donate to charity, anything that comes to mind. I don't know, just things like that.
It's a lot to think about, but ultimately you love running barrels. You have an awesome partner to do that with, and we look forward to seeing you Sunday, so good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And here are the qualified barrel racers. Lindsay Sears won the gold buckle match, and she has the exemption. And will she bring Martha? That's the question. Now, there are 10 ladies that came out of the semifinals in Fort Worth last week. Here they are, including Ivy Conrado, who has been setting the cloverleaf barrel pattern on fire here lately. Let's switch gears and talk a little saddle bronc riding. As we have already mentioned, Wade Sundell has a shot at some of the million if he can win the American for the 3rd year in a row, but he's going to have his work cut out for him as he's going to have some pretty stiff competition that includes this bunch of world champions. My goodness, they're all over the place, including Taos Muncie, and we've got Jacobs Crowley, the reigning PRCA world champion. Cody DeMoss has won everything in the world but his brother Heath DeMoss. They always bring a big crowd from Louisiana, so they're not too far away. And the weather is going to be absolutely spectacular for this year's American. And the qualified saddle bronc riders that came out of the semifinals in Fort Worth last weekend, Stephen Denny made it in the bareback riding and the saddle bronc riding. So Trevor Brazil is not the only man in 2 events here this year. Well, the American, it's where children and retired veterans can face off against weekend warriors and world champions. It's where the entire family can qualify together. And when we come back, we'll meet one of those families that's going to meet right here at AT&T on Sunday. Welcome back to the Road to the American, the final stop on this installment of trips around the country as we talk to all the contenders and players in this very anticipated American rodeo coming up this Sunday. The American Family Ties Mary Smothers and Rich Skelton. That's the mother-in-law and son-in-law. Barrel racing and team roping, Corey Pesca and Sherry Servey, our husband and wife. They'll both be here, as will, as we previously pointed out, Cody and Heath DeMoss in the saddle bronc riding. Welcome back, everybody, to AT&T Stadium. We've got the run of the place. Jerry gave us the keys and says, do whatever you want to do, and that's why we are throwing a party up here at the desk, and I have invited two of the people everybody's talking about, and that is Nana. This is Nana Mary Smothers, and she is qualified in the barrel racing, and her son-in-law is a world champion team roper that many of you know, Rich Skelton. We're glad to have you both here, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Wow, this is quite a story.
I'm still overwhelmed with it all. It's just unbelievable.
It's just the wildest thing that's ever happened to you?
It truly is. It's great. It's wonderful.
Have you ever done anything more exciting?
Well, nothing I can talk about.
Okay, all right. That's television worthy. Let me ask you this. Did you steal your granddaughter's horse? Is this your horse? Let's talk about your horse.
I absolutely have a wonderful horse. The great thing about him is he's healthy this year. He's running good. Rainey and Rhonda.
That's your granddaughter.
Rainey's my granddaughter. Rhonda is my daughter, and we call ourselves the Three Amigos. And so we do all this barrel racing together. There will be a day, probably sooner than I would like, for Rainey to move on to my horse, but he's 16-1, so we've just kind of thought he was just a little big for her right now.
What do you call him?
I call him Marty. His name is Six Moon Firewater, but his born name is Marty.
All right, well, let's watch your run on Marty.
All right.
Let's take you back to the semifinals in Fort Worth this last weekend, and I want you to tell us what is going on here.
He just came in. I mean, he came down the alley when I guess he could see the lights on, and he just came in with his ears going, and he was just hunting the barrels. It was very smooth for me to make the run on him. He really tries very, very hard.
Is he always that good, or did you just have your day? Was that your day?
You know what? He is. He tries very, very hard. I'm not saying that I ride all the time, but I do. It just worked out this time really well. So.
Rich, what'd you think about Grandma? Oh, wait a minute, we can't call her Grandma. She'll like Grandma. Nana.
Nana. There you go. No, you know, I was up in New Jersey doing roping school, and my phone started going off, getting texts, and everybody's like, they said Granny made it. That's what y'all said on TV. They said Granny made it, but no. Rhonda, my wife, called, and everybody was excited. I'm really excited. It's pretty cool.
All right, and congratulations to you. You have your spot. You and Jake Barnes went through the Gold Buckle matches, and you're going to be here with an exemption and shot at the $1 million. So
that's going to be good. I got a phone call from Jake a couple of days ago, and the first thing out of his mouth, he didn't say hello or anything. He says, "How would you like to be a millionaire?" So he's going to come down. We're going to rope Friday and Saturday, and then he's on back up here and see if we can't catch one.
All right. Well, let's show you. Let's show some videotape. Let's talk about the Gold Buckle match. What a great setup, and what a fun evening as here you are with Speed Williams, your old partner.
You know, the good thing about this deal, it was you know, I've got to rope with Speed. I got to rope with T. You know, and I roped a lot of steers with both of them. Started out rodeoing with T. You know, and I roped a lot with Jake. You know, a few times at the George Strait and things like that. And, you know, that was pretty exciting, close to home. Yep. And, you know, I wanted to rope good. You know, I roped a lot, practiced. It's just like Cody and Fred trying to get ready for their match. I wanted to rope good.
Yeah, and you did. And, you know, there's something about you. I mean, when a lot of guys, they win a world championship, or in your case, you win 8 world championships, and then, you know, they slack off and they fade away and everything, but you're gaining some steam. What is it about you here just in the last few months? I mean, everything's snappy. I mean, you look as sharp as you've ever looked.
Well, you know, you know, when you get a little older, I think you have something that you got to stay on top. You got to work on it. You have something, you know, when you start rodeoing, you have something to prove, and then I think, you know, and then at the end, you have something to prove that you still rope good.
Good point. Let's talk about this year. You talk about a year of ups and downs and near-death experience for you in a tractor accident.
Right.
What happened on that day?
You know, I didn't have a covered arena at home, and I'd done a roping school in town, and I was coming home I had my tractor in town to work the ground, and I was coming home, and just you know, had an accident. Some folks run into a lady and knocked her and me, and
you know, and it was May 15th, and just nothing. You know, the way I look at it, everything come out good. The lady was okay, boy was okay. I'm fine now. And
yeah, but you went to the hospital for how many days?
Oh, I was in intensive care for 2 days. Had, you know, a lot of blood on my brain, and, you know, and it's just like one of those deals. I didn't know if I was going to get to rodeo or not, and luckily everything worked out. I got back rodeoing pretty quick and then got to it.
Yeah, you were at, I believe Reno was your first rodeo back, or did you come out before that?
No, it was Reno. That was the first one.
It was about 6 weeks.
And the doctor told me, you know, he said, you know, that's one thing we have to check on, you know, and make sure everything was good. But it's kind of like Jake, you know, and both of us had accidents, and it'd be kind of cool if not to mention for the money, if you know, if we did pull it off, it'd be underdogs. So, being cool.
Nana Mary, what's it like being one of very few families in this elite rodeo together?
We just have a great time. You know, we all get along. We really do, and it's so much fun being around them. It's when we have Rainey and we have Rhonda and my husband Ronnie and Rich and I. It's kind of crazy just listening to everybody, but we have a great time. We all love each other, and we're blessed that we have that sort of a family. So
I'm gonna give you an opportunity to do what grandmas just love to do more than anything. Brag on Rainey, because last year we were talking about her maybe even making it into the semifinal performance round. Tell us about her and what she's accomplished.
Rainey can outride all of us at our age, and I'm not just saying it. She
How old
truly
is she
can.
again?
She just turned 12.
Yeah.
But she can rope, breakaway. Last week was a 19.7 on the poles, and won the poles. She does goat tying. She can just crawls on colts. She trains ponies to lay down and do, you can just name it. She's just very talented along that line. But she loves it. She just loves doing it.
Where'd she get all this talent, Rich?
You know, I guess from her mother, or we have some guys that work for us, and she watches them, and it's pretty cool.
I want to show you some of the qualifiers again that competed with you and earned a spot. We're also going to look at the top 10 in the world, and I want to get your take here. Here are some of the qualifiers last week. 2 men get in as well. And who do you see right here on this list that might sneak up on, besides yourself? Or you just include yourself?
I don't care. You know, I sit there and watch. I've watched them all myself too, and it was an amazing close barrel race for everybody. And I think when you get this many, like you have the NFR qualifiers and these, it just comes down to tomorrow, Sunday, I guess it is, on just which horse handles the ground, which has the luck for that day, because you could switch it all over the next day and it'd probably be a whole different group. So I can't pick one, because there's not somebody in here I don't think that's not qualified.
That Ivy Conrado's
horse,
loves it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're just all great.
Rich, you got anybody, you know, any long shot favorite?
I'm gonna have to go with Mary Donna.
Yeah, okay, all right. That's a great answer by you. Great answer by you. You can thank me later for that softball lob. No problem.
And I'm for Rich and Jake too.
I
am. I truly
make it official.
I am.
Wouldn't that be something? 2 near-death experiences that the team
I
come
think
together?
It's wonderful that the 2 of them have came back what they've done, and they're going to rope, I think, the next couple of days together in practice, and we're all betting on them.
Man, you could sell tickets to that. If Randy Bernard knew about that, he would be selling tickets to that. I would buy a ticket to go watch you and Jake practice this week. Probably an undisclosed location, though.
Yes.
Yeah, very secret.
I've got to say one thing, if I just have a minute.
Yep.
I've got 2 other I've got 3 grandchildren.
Oh, yes.
2 boys, Riley and Jet, and Rainey. And I just wanted to get the one time to mention their names so they won't say, why didn't you say that I was there? So
That's right. That's right. Let's switch gears and show you the invited barrel racers right now. These are the ones you're going to have to beat if you're going to get the $1 million.
Oh, wow.
And, I know. Look at that.
Well, you've got Sherry Servey right there on the very top. I mean, how can you not go against her? Callie Dupier, Jackie. I don't see anybody. Taylor Jacobs, Fallon Taylor. Sarah Rose McDonald. I can't. Really, it just. Oh my! It's.
All right, Rich,
I'm just blessed to be able to run against that group. I really am.
Have you beat them before?
Well, I think this is the only time I've really run against them. So
That's what makes the American so special.
yeah, it is, and it gives everyone a chance because you have your qualifying all through the years, so no one's left out. Everyone has the chance to have that dream to be able to do it. So
All right.
it's
We're gonna-
wonderful.
We're going to go talk a little team roping now.
All right.
Perfect.
Let's talk a little team roping. And we had a team come through the semifinals, Clay Smith and Paul Eves, that a bunch of us were picking to go all the way. They almost didn't make it into the short round, but they did, and they made good. How tough do you think that those guys are?
I really believe Clay and Paul's good. I mean, they Clay made the finals last year his first time, and he got out there and got some confidence, and they won Denver, and they've roped good for a long time, and they're getting some momentum.
Yeah, they really are. And I know Clay, he's getting ready for the timed event championship after the American, which pays $100,000 at the Lazy E, where you got a head and heel and rope a calf and tie down a steer and steer wrestle, and that guy can do it. That is a cowboy.
He's a good cowboy, and he can, like I say, he can do it all. If you had to pick one event, maybe his steer roping would be his weakest event.
Yeah.
But a guy like that, he's young, agile, he knows it, he's going to work at it and bring it to a strong suit.
Yeah, he can. Well, let's look at the invited team ropers right now, and we have, again, a very impressive list. And Senegini and Moats, what a year they had, what a national finals rodeo they put together. And Begay and the champ, Clay O'Brien Cooper. Man, the list just goes on and on. There's just legends all over the place.
There's a great team.
Who's your pick?
Out of those guys, I like Senegini and Moats, just because they had so good at the finals last year, and Senegini gets it on them fast. All those guys are great. Like say, you can't pick one team, but there's guys that have better head horses for this situation and rope better in a smaller area.
All right, let's take a look at those qualifiers. We mentioned Clay Smith and Paul Eves headed the field up, and let's bring up Caleb Driggers. And were you surprised that when he got the opportunity to pick a partner and win the Triple Crown, they went with Brady Minor?
Brady Minor, he has a great horse, and they rope together a lot, and like in the summertime. I don't know how much they get to rope, actually together, if they got to get practice a little bit. But Brady Minor's a good partner anywhere you take him.
All right. Let's go back and talk about Jake Barnes, and you guys both were able to overcome this injury a little quicker than maybe the doctors thought you would, and he too is coming out a little earlier than they anticipated, but that's just Jake Barnes.
Right.
He's a warrior.
Real warrior.
He is a real warrior, and but at the same time, he's gonna take some safety precautions. He's gonna wear some headgear. I know Resistol has come out with a cowboy hat helmet,
right?
The Ride Smart helmet, and he was wearing that at the Go Buckle matches, and man, I commend him for that. That's not something that cowboys would have maybe done in the past, but I think it's a good example for the young people.
It's a great example, and the thing about it is when you have an injury like that, it makes you think about it. And they said, if it happens again, he's in really big trouble, So it's like one of those deals, why take the chance? And, I think for kids and everybody learning, that's a great idea.
All right. Speaking of kids and everybody learning, I just got to ask, how many schools do you teach a year?
It just went up dramatically here in the last last couple of weeks, So we was going through a calendar last night, and I don't have a day off in May. So I have a school every day, and actually I'm looking for a little time and be home with the family and that month, and that way I can make my own schedule. Okay. One thing about what we got right now, we have a schedule. Yeah. That's something I hadn't had in the past, and it's going to be fun.
You got a website or anything we can plug?
The big deal nowadays, Facebook.
Facebook, there you go.
That's the main deal.
All right. Nana, if you win, are you going to take the kids to Disneyland?
We're going.
All right.
We're going.
That's a done deal, because I know the grandkids are watching, and you've already named them all. So
Rich
there
can
you
even go.
Rich can even go?
I have time now.
I'd like to see that. That'd be good. I want to see pictures. When we come back, we'll talk more team roping with a guy that is the runner-up to the World Championship last year and a guy that many are predicting could win it all here at the American. Ryan Moats will join us here at AT&T Stadium. Ooh, man, when we come back. Welcome back to RFD-TV's The Road to the American, and that is where that pot of gold at the end of the rodeo rainbow is located. AT&T Stadium. Coverage on RFD-TV begins at 1 o'clock, and if you'd like to see it live, it's still not too late. There's still tickets available. Go to Ticketmaster.com. If you've never seen the stadium, it's worth the trip and the price of admission just to see this beautiful place. Let's go downstairs right now and find out what Amy Wilson is up to.
We're giving you a rare inside look at the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders' locker room. In 1972, they became the first pro cheerleaders in the NFL. Every year, about 500 girls show up to try out, and no spot is guaranteed. Every year, the girls must earn their spot on the team. This year, there are 34 girls in the squad, and they only cheer at home games. They don't travel with the team. You have to be at least 18. This year, the oldest is 32, so I still have a few years to try out. And you can see the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders right here at AT&T Stadium for RFD-TV's The American as they welcome the very best rodeo athletes.
Absolutely. I mean, if we've got cheerleaders here for Tony Romo and the boys, why not Trevor Brazil and Ryan Moats and the fellas, huh?
Yeah, you bet. That'd be pretty sweet. The Cowgirls cheerleaders out here cheering on the Cowboys for the American.
Yeah. I tell you, Jerry Jones, he just pulls out all the stops. I mean, all the bells and whistles, and including the cheerleaders and pom-poms.
Oh, man, yeah, they got the good cheerleaders. They got the sweet facility. This place is amazing, man. It's a pretty cool spot to have a rodeo.
Welcome to the coolest spot in rodeo tonight.
You got it.
This set.
You've got the coolest spot in rodeo.
I love it. I love it. We're glad to have you here, but before we get into our technical talk about team roping and the American and the money and all that stuff, I want to take you back to the picture we went to break with just a moment ago. This is you in front of the big screen watching yourself.
That's Clay and Jade right there. Yeah, so I had to make sure nobody thought I was Jade,
what did our producer tell you that to do? Make the scariest face ever?
I was just making sure everybody knew I wasn't Jade, I guess. And you know.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought maybe they were like, give us a professional wrestler impersonation there.
Yeah, that's my professional wrestler impersonation. Yeah, pretty serious face.
That was serious. Is that the face we're going to see when you're back in the box for $100,000?
Man, that's probably going to be pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So, you know, I kind of turn all emotions off and, you know, kind of serious takes over and you kind of blank out a little bit and you practice all the time. And kind of muscle memory takes over. You think a little bit, but yeah.
Okay, so here's the question: does a pro like you that has been in the race for the World Championship like you were last year in Vegas at the NFR, is your heart beating fast when you're right in the box?
Yeah, definitely.
Even for you?
Oh yeah, everybody's heart beats fast, and I think the more that the more money you're up for, the more serious you are. I live for it. I love it. The more money that's up, the more excited I get, the better I feel like I compete. So. I don't know if it's nervous or not. It's just I'm always ready to compete, So leading up to it, people ask you if you get nervous, and I don't know if I get nervous. I just get antsy.
Yeah, I got you. Does your horse get antsy?
Yeah, he gets antsy. He does. No, he's a great horse. Starbucks, I'll ride him over here. He's great. He doesn't like a lot of things. The first year over here, we were the first team in the team roping. Charlie Crawford and I were. And she came out with the flag right before the team were open, shooting the fireworks off, and he ran off about halfway across AT&T Stadium, so they were hunting me down. But
that is probably my favorite heel horse right now. He's won AQHA, PRCA Horse of the Year, and he is phenomenal. What makes him so great?
I've had him. We raised him. I've had him since he was a colt. He, as he's fast. That always helps in the quicker setups, especially when you're up with a partner that catches fast. So he's fast, he stops really hard, and he finishes good. So that's kind of the three of the things you really like, and everybody looks for in a good heel horse.
Well, let's look at some of your runs you've had here at AT&T Stadium as we can. We'll cue that up, and we'll show you. Let you talk us through it right here. Again, that's not you.
That's Clay and Jade. That's a pretty good run, pretty good team. I don't know how fast they were right there, but it's a pretty good shot too.
Oh man, that was a dicey steer.
Yeah, that Switchblade, that's Jade's good horse. Pretty good horse right there too.
That's a horse that is also one of the contenders for Horse of the Year.
Yeah, Switchblade's a great horse. There's a lot of good horses. You'll see a lot of good heel horses over here. A lot of good horses in everything, but heel horses especially. Brady Minor, he'll have Ray down here. That's the horse that's...
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Another
mine
one
and
of my
his have been
favorites.
kind of towards the top of the heel horse of the year voting the last couple of years, so back and forth. I rode Brady's at Rapid City the other day. He's a really, really good horse.
So what do you think of Caleb Driggers and Brady getting together?
That's pretty cool. It's pretty, I'm happy for it. Brady's a good friend of mine. Driggers obviously won it twice here, so I mean to see them two come in here and win it, you know, if they had a chance to win it for the million, that's pretty neat.
Well, and you know, a lot of people's opinion is that Caleb Driggers has a great shot because he's got so much range. What is it about? I mean, is there anybody that can bomb it better than he can?
Oh, I mean, now everybody, a lot of people can, I guess. Obviously, he does a great job. JoJo, obviously, we see, you know,
Yes.
JoJo, here he comes back out of retirement, I guess. But JoJo's got a ton of range. Driggers has a ton of range. Just the kids these days through the schools, Rich and everybody, you know, they guys do a great job of teaching schools, and there's a lot, you know, kids these days, they know what we do. They get to watch what we do. They get to watch and learn and ask questions. And man, there's kids nowadays, just like Cooper was talking about in the calf rope, but I mean, there's kids coming up nowadays that can do stuff that's just amazing. So there's a lot of kids that got a lot of range, a lot of rope handling skills, and that really, really helps.
Let's talk about some of the invited, some of the guys you're going to have to beat to win the $100,000. Oh, by the way, there's about $50,000 worth of prizes that goes along with the 100. Here it is again. We were looking at it earlier. What is the team that you're looking over your shoulder at the most?
Oh, you know, obviously Luke Brown, he was right there in the running with Colin, you know, towards the end of the year for the World Championship. Clay Cooper, for him to come in here and win something like this, him and Begay been at the house for a little while. I'm going to say they're hungry. They're going to be hot.
Everybody pulls for the champ, Clay O'Brien Cooper.
It's hard not to. You know, Clay's such a great guy, and you know, we all grew up. You know, my two idols, Rich Skelton and Clay Cooper, growing up. You know, so to get to compete, I got the buckle in the mail from the NFR yesterday. I guess Rich and I split around, so it's pretty cool to, you know, think it was a special win for me to split it with Rich.
Yeah, and you won 4 go-arounds at the NFR this year.
Yeah, we got
$144,000.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I needed 150, but
Yeah.
144 was good. But no, it was great. It was exciting. Aaron and I, man, we enjoy roping together. We kind of have the same type of a game plan. We can kind of go both ways. Either if he catches fast, I'm able to kind of slow down and you know, let him make up the time, and vice versa. So we're both comfortable in doing that, and our styles kind of fit.
What was it like growing up for you as a kid?
Oh, you know, it was good. You know, my dad, David, he's a world champion, so I kind of grew up with a bit of an insight to the rodeo, you know, and as a kid, you know, getting to go to the ropings out there. I grew up in California and got to grow up and you know, to see Leo and Rich and Cleo and Albach and all those guys, you know, and I got to kind of know them, you know, and growing up, you know, I got to have conversations with them and stuff. So that was pretty cool to have that kind of inside track to, you know, knowing some of my heroes and growing up.
A lot of people wonder, why did he grow up in California and then move to Texas?
Oh, I'm just smarter than everybody else. I beat everybody down here, I guess. No, I love it here. So I've lived here since I was about 10 years old.
Yeah, and it's a good spot for team roping. It seems like everybody is migrating west of Fort Worth, Weatherford, Stephenville area.
Yeah, I'm the first one to Weatherford, I think. But now everybody, you know, Paul Eves, he just bought a place in Weatherford the other day. Yeah, a lot of people. Stephenville, Weatherford, it's pretty big.
Yeah. So the big rodeo is right around the corner, and have you thought about what you'd do with $100,000 if you won it?
Oh, you know, I'm sure we wouldn't have any trouble spending it. Courtney and I are building a house right now, so I'm going to say a good portion of it would have went to it.
I thought you might say that. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks for coming into town and visiting with us here tonight.
You bet.
Can't
Thanks
wait
for
to
having
see
us.
you and Starbucks. We're looking forward to that. When we come back, we're going to talk about some bull riding. And we've got a young man that is a star in the PBR. He was only the 4th rookie to win the PBR World Finals. He won almost $300,000 at the PBR World Finals. Cooper Davis, when we come back. RFD-TV's Road to the American, presented by Polaris Ranger, is brought to you in part by Animal Health International, a Patterson company. Let's go there. And by Elanco, food and companionship, enriching life.
Welcome back. I'm standing by with PBR bull rider Cooper Davis. Cooper, I want to start off by talking about the PBR World Finals. You won last year. What enabled you to do that?
You know, I started working out a whole lot, and I think early September I just knew I had to bust my tail, and ended up losing about 30 pounds before the finals and got down to about 140, and you know, it worked out for me.
First time to ever be at the PBR World Finals and you win it all. That's pretty outstanding. Now, I heard someone talk about the amount of money you won at the World Finals divided by the weight you lost, close to $10,000 a pound. That paid off pretty good.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but you know, if I keep losing these pounds, I might have to keep winning some money.
And right after the finals, you got married, you have a little boy now, and you were just telling me that your family gets to travel with you, and you have a lot of family coming this weekend.
Yeah, I think I got about 20 people coming this weekend, and my wife and baby to go everywhere, so that's a little bit of comfort for me when they get to go and get to be around them, and it's relaxing.
Now, you were telling me, talking about the weight loss, that Cody Lambert was one of them who encouraged you. It all kind of started with touching on a nerve a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, he did. He said there's 3 fat guys over there, and one of them's entered tonight, and that kind of lit a fire under me to lose the weight. And you know, I appreciate him, you know, believing in me enough to say something. It wasn't the easiest way for him to get it out there, but hey, he got his point across.
Sometimes the truth hurts, but it's definitely helped your career. This weekend, obviously, you feel fit and ready to go and get on potentially 7 bulls. You'll be riding at PBR's Iron Cowboy. You could get on as many as 5 bulls there. RFD-TV's The American, you could get on 2. Knowing the caliber of bulls, what are your expectations for yourself this weekend?
You know, I feel good, and I feel like I can ride any bull they throw under me. So, you know, if I have to get on 7 bulls, I feel like I can ride 7 bulls this week.
Any thoughts on bulls that you would love to draw, or maybe ones that you'd like to draw against?
You know, there's not really a particular bull I'm against or I'm you know, wanting to draw. If I can draw them and I can stay on them, then that's the bull I want to get on. So, any of them.
Talking about the potential to win a lot of money, PBR's Iron Cowboy has a big time payout, $100,000 to the winner, same as RFD-TV's The American, $100,000 to the winner. What do you think about the chance of winning $200,000 on Saturday and Sunday?
It sounds great to me. You know, it's one of the biggest platforms we get to go to all year. So having the opportunity to come win $100,000 a night, that doesn't happen very often. So I'm excited for it, and hopefully it happens.
And I've been told that in addition to bull riding, you've also found yourself on the cover of a fashion magazine. Tell me more about that.
Yes, ma'am. New York Times came and spent a few days at the house and ended up on the cover. And it's probably one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me.
That is really cool. Okay, so also talking about this weekend, I've been told that you have a wrist injury that has maybe affected you a little bit here and there. Tell us what happened, and if you do think that'll play an impact on your riding.
I was working on a barn at my parents', and a piece of tin slid off a roof and tried to catch it and hit my wrist, and messed about 3 or 4 tendons up and some nerves. But you know, it keeps getting better weekly, and it does bother me from time to time, but you just got to fight through the pain, and it's something you got to deal with.
I asked you earlier if you had thought about switching hands, and you said if JB can do it, anybody can do it?
No, I didn't say that. I said JB did it, and he was pretty successful at it. But, you know, if it ever did come down to it, I would have to give it a try before I quit. But, you know, I can fight through the pain right now, and it's working.
Obviously, I was joking. We were both huge fans of JB Mooney, and we'll be riding here this weekend as well. Lots of excitement going into getting on a bunch of bulls and big-time payouts, and the just possibility of cashing in big and making the most of it. Any final thoughts?
You know, I'm trying to keep my head clear right now and try not to let all these lights get to me. But, yeah, I'm excited for the week, and, heck, doesn't get any better than this.
That's for sure. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And here are the invited bull riders that include Cooper Davis, who not only with that $300,000, he totaled $420,000 for the year, finishing the top 6 of the PBR standings. JB Mooney is on that list, and here's the qualified bull riders that came through the semifinals. Mason Lowe won the semifinals, but 36-year-old Guilherme Marchi certainly could be a favorite, and if any of these guys can take on and win the bull riding against the top 10 in the world, they could win or split that $1 million. Guilherme Marchi, of course, is the only man to have over 500 100 qualified rides, and every time he gets a score, he is adding to that existing record. Welcome back, everybody, and Randy Bernard joins me here, and he is the man who had the dream, and he came to RFD-TV and Patrick Gotch and said, hey, what do you think we put on a rodeo? So 3 years later, this thing has grown immensely.
It's been fun. I mean, you look back on it, and you know, I kind of always go back and try to think of how we did it at the PBR in the early years and how quickly the brand built. And you know, it took probably 9 years before we could build a brand with PBR. Now we had PBR as Pabst Blue Ribbon too, so there were some issues. But it took a long time for us to get to that next step, to really say that we had that brand. American, it's been 3 years, and we have a huge brand. I mean, wherever you go, people talk about the American.
They do.
And quite honestly, I can't say enough for if it wasn't for Patrick Gotch, it would have happened. I mean, anybody can make big dreams up and say, this is what you want to do, but someone's got to pull the trigger and say, let's do it.
Right.
And, you know, from the very start, Patrick said, this is something that RFD is going to get behind. We're going to do this for the Cowboys. We're going to do it for the Western industry, and everybody's going to win on it. And you know, it's been an incredible experience for us.
Well, it's been fun to see the people not only watch it, but talk about it all year long. And the thing I like about Rural America is they are very loyal. And I don't know of any other network where you've got people that are viewers that are as loyal as the people watching on RFD-TV. I mean, it is one big family.
I think it turned a lot of heads on when you saw how many people watched RFD-TV. We had people come from 49 states the first and second year. And I think that it shows the power of RFD-TV. We have an incredibly passionate fan base that live in rural America. And 90% of our country is made up in C&D counties, which is rural America. People forget about that. And RFD-TV does not forget who they are. And this is what they love to see. And it's been just been so much fun to do.
It's been great to see the network bring rural America together in a way that I'm not experienced in my lifetime. I don't think we have maybe ever experienced that in our country. But let's talk about the American. Let's get back to rodeo business, and let's talk about some of the storylines in the fact that there's a lot of the biggest names in rodeo that are very eager to get their competition on.
I think the biggest storyline that we have left out, I mean, we have married, as you saw tonight, and I mean the 13-year-old Mackenzie, and we got incredible the underdogs, and we've got all the greats. But the one I think that we've really left out is all these ERA Cowboys. All those Cowboys that have not been able to compete at San Antonio, at Fort Worth, at San Angelo, that they're hungry. They've got a point to prove. And all those guys at the semifinals have got a lot of work in front of them, because I think that if there was ever a year that if anybody could ever pull it off where the ERA guys came in here and sweeped it, it would be a huge statement for them. And I think that it's something, you know, at that caliber, anything can happen on a one-day event. There's no question. But I mean, you know, they're hungry.
They're not only eager, they're hungry.
Exactly.
And they're going to have to make hay this weekend or this Sunday while they can. There's not going to be a lot of opportunities this year.
Which I think is fun. I think it just increases the excitement level, and the fact that you couldn't see them at those three events. And you know, the only two rodeos is the Houston and the American is the two events you'll be able to see them at in the next couple of months, unless you go to Redmond, Oregon and the ERA Tour.
Yep. Let's show some of the event information that's going to be taking place and the breakdown of the format, top 10 in the world. Qualifiers in the semifinals are going to try to shoot them down and get a chunk of that $1 million. There's $2 million all together, and one long go around, top four advance to shootout, and it's all live on RFD-TV starting at 1 o'clock Central.
Yes, we have a great act that comes on at 1:30, William Michael Morgan. He's going to be great. If you're here, if you're coming to the event, don't miss William Michael Morgan. He's going to be an incredible artist that hits Nashville and the country.
He is going to be a star. I was fortunate we got to interview him on the show a few weeks ago there in Nashville.
Yeah, and the Triple Crown I think is so much fun. I've loved seeing how that's played out. I think all three of them are great champions, and the fact that, you know, it's always been about the underdog coming into the American, and now it's also about three of the greats that come in here and won first 2 years in a row. Can they do it 3 years in a row?
I think
it's a huge statement, and let's see how it plays out.
All right, now, this roof opens up. The weatherman says no ice for the first 2 years. You have put on an event that under some less than desirable weather conditions.
17 degrees the first year, 23 degrees with ice last year.
Still got a big crowd. This year it's going to be 75 degrees. Is there a possibility that Jerry might open up the sky roof?
Well, actually it's going to be 78 degrees according to the weatherman.
Oh, good.
According to our meteorologist at RFD-TV.
Okay.
But the problem is if it has any type of wind, we can't open it. The great part is it only takes about an hour and 20 minutes to open. So we will make that decision. If there's, I think 10 miles an hour or above, they can't open it.
Okay.
So that's really what it's going to come down to if there's any type of wind out there.
I want to plug something that we only got a few seconds here, but Cowboy Church begins at 8 o'clock in the fan zone. Don't come at 1 or 1:30. Come at 8 o'clock, and there's so many things to do and see because all the people that we watch on RFD-TV have booths set up there, and you've got clinics going on. It is a fan zone deluxe.
A mutton busting for the kids, so bring your grandkids or your kids. I mean, it goes on all day. I mean, this is about an event all day long, and it ends with the American and crowning some great champs.
It isn't a real experience. We have some wonderful sponsors that have helped make it possible. Thank you to Patrick Gotch and RFD-TV, our hardworking crew. Randy, thank you so much.
I've got to thank those sponsors. Please, everyone that watches this show or comes to the show, buy their products. I mean, if it wasn't for these folks, they put their money on the line to make this happen. Please, if I can say one thing, it's just let's embrace these sponsors that get behind this and make rodeo better for every cowboy and fan out there.
Rural American can do just that. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate all of you tuning in on this very exciting trip we call the Road to the American. This Sunday is when it all comes down to the richest one-day rodeo of them all, the American. Don't forget, broadcast starts at 1 o'clock Central Time. I'm Justin McKee. Thank you so much. See you Sunday.